and Micah. Micah, the School of Ideas, has just launched a very interesting concept and a school, which is School of Applied Creativity. And in this school, we have been collaborating with a lot of international educators as well as professionals. We are in the process of launching two new programs. One is the CCC program, which was a flagship program within the School of Applied Creativity. We are actually extending it to a 2 years program. And along with that, we are also launching another master's level program, which is Masters in Content and Creator Economy. As a part of that initiative, we have also started working in the space of AI creativity. And today's topic that you know is from K-drama to AI drama, how Korea's storytelling revolution foreshadows the future of human creativity in the age of AI. And to deliver this session today here with us, we have Ms. Suk Tan. If I've pronounced it correctly, Suk Tan. She's a filmmaker, an innovator whose work explores the nexus of humanity, social change, and technology. Her documentaries and mobile photography have captivated global attention from CNN to The Guardian, from the People's Daily to the Times of India. Her storytelling transcends mediums, advocating for a future where technology empowers humanity. Her latest work, AI for Humanity, is an interdisciplinary collaboration with an AI scientist and AI governance expert. The book is there. It's actually becoming the bestseller since its debut. The book has quickly captured global attention. In fact, something that you must read, and I'm planning to read it this weekend, topping Amazon bestseller list and garnering the attention of thought leaders worldwide. AI for Humanity is now part of over 400 libraries collections in 30 countries from across 5 continents. One of them is Micah as well now. China Renmin University Press will publish the Chinese edition in 2025 this year. I would like to invite Mr. Unmesh Dixit to welcome Suk Suk. Oh, yes. Let's take a photograph, please. Yeah. Quick photograph. Come, Pooja. Thank you. Over to you, Suk Suk. Floor is all yours. Thank you.
What? Color mic? I think it's okay. Good evening. Very good to see you. Thanks for coming out. My name is Syok Syok. It means to cherish, to love in Chinese. Unfortunately, sad to disappoint you, I'm not Korean. Although when I was raised in Beijing, I was often mistaken for Korean. But passing for Korean doesn't make me Korean. But today I'm excited to talk to you about K-drama as a global phenomenon, but I think also a very good case study for what Micah is trying to do in terms of training, preparing creators who can apply creativity in the way that the kind of talent behind K-drama has been able to do across the world. So I'm going to just share that. Um, I've been introduced already. Let me also just say that um, what I'm very interested in is not just technology, but how technology affect people, bring about change. And right before I came up here, I was speaking to a local journalist, and she was asking me a lot of questions about what AI means for jobs, the future of work. So I think that's what I also am very interested in terms of how AI impacts humanity. Some of this you've already heard in terms of the book doing very well on Amazon, and that is in the library of close to 500 libraries now. MIT, UPenn, National School of Government, South Africa, Shanghai, Jiao Tong University, University in Edinburgh. The list goes on and on. I want to get to talking to you about K drama, and I will start by appropriately asking you: have you ever watched a K drama? Can you raise your hand? Wow, there are people who haven't. Okay. And those, have you ever cried while watching K drama? Only? Oh, men, the men, you're gonna start crying now? Okay. Okay, there are a couple of gentlemen. Have you ever been surprised that you were so moved or you enjoy so much a drama about a people that seem so different from you? Is anyone surprised that you like K drama? You are. Why do you like K drama?
I think the cinematography behind the every scene and the transition they make, that is very smooth. So that is one of the reason I like about that. And the emotional content, like it's too much of emotional content also over there, but the transition is very smooth. Yeah, that's the thing.
The gentleman who said there's a gentleman as well.
I played a very small role in a drama.
K drama.
Few dramas actually, which was assigned to me actually. But I had fun to go on the stage. So you can show your talent at any age.
Okay.
I'm only 83 years old. Only. I would like if somebody invite, I never say no to anyone.
You are
Okay.
17 years younger.
Okay. I'm gonna now.
So please afford one.
Okay. In terms of K drama, I'm just gonna play a quick video that kind of tells the story about the rise of K drama. It's the numbers are a little bit dated because it was from a few years ago, but the story remains true. So I'm gonna play it now.
South Korean culture is having a moment. Actually, no, wait, it's not. To all the analysis about Squid Game and South Korean soft power, please. It's been having this moment for. South Korean culture is having a moment. Actually, no, wait, it's not. To all the analysis about Squid Game and South Korean soft power, please. It's been having this moment for the last few years globally and for about a decade in Asia. Hallyu, or the Korean wave, is what the country's culture ministry calls successes its entertainment industry has had outside the country. A wave that's been building for years based on a very clear objective the government introduced in 1994. The Presidential Advisory Board on Science and Technology submitted a report to then President Kim Young-sam suggesting that the government promote media production as a national strategic industry. After crunching the numbers, they computed that the overall revenue of Jurassic Park was equivalent to the foreign sales of 1.5 million Hyundai cars. The idea of comparing a film's revenue to Hyundai cars, considered the pride of Korea in the 90s, kind of sparked a light bulb moment where the idea of culture as an industry could really take off. In the same year, the government established the Cultural Industry Bureau within the Ministry of Culture and Sports. It also expanded the budget from $14 million in 1998 to $85 million in 1999. And in 2021, it's planned on spending $890 million on promoting the entertainment and cultural industry. Now back to the 2000s. There was government support, but not really direction. The 2000s were marked by a struggle to preserve Korean culture, but at the same time evolved with the innovations in the entertainment industry in the West. In the process, a cultural hybrid grew, as exemplified by the film industry and K-pop. In 2020, the revenue for South Korea's content industry was $107 billion. But it touches on a lot more than just movie ticket sales and K-pop album revenues. I asked my colleague Jian Lee on what these ripple effects were.
Yes, so obviously last year has been a difficult year for the global economy. There was a pandemic, and Korean exports, which has been booming every year, it fell last year as well. But if you look at the consumer products that benefited from the popularity of Korean culture, Korean pop culture, like idol stars and Korean TV shows, to the global audience, it was up by more than 5%. And it was really an outperformance if you consider the state of the global economy last year. The content industry by itself is still small, but it's growing. And if we look at the size, as of now, it's bigger than household appliances, which is one of Korea's key export items. It's been one of the fastest rising sectors within the economy. If we look at the past decade through 2019, it grew at high 20%. So that was a faster pace than manufacturing. And Netflix recently released a report where it said it helped create 16,000 full-time jobs within Korea over the past 5 years. For many, many years, Korea's goal has been to attract more foreign tourists within Korea because the economy is heavily export and manufacturing oriented. And through that, the popularity of Korean stars, Korean idols, and Korean shows and dramas, and also products have played a huge role in attracting more people into the country. So if you look at before the pandemic, like in 2019, more than 10% of tourists who visited Korea said they visited specifically for the purpose of engaging in fan events or visiting places where Korean dramas or movies were shot.
Not only that, but there's also
It's quite a quick summary of the K-drama phenomenon. I would actually argue that it's more than a decade or so. Let's trace it back to well, what you can see is really the before and after, right? So after 1950s, early 50s, after the Korean War, Korea was war-torn. And then voila, now it's a cultural superpower. And the creative exports now come to about $18 billion. It's now more than what they make by exporting Hyundai cars. How many of you have driven a Korean car before? Ah, there you go. Okay, is it Hyundai? Is it a good car?
Yeah,
Not bad. Okay. But I think when we say that, someone was just asking me just now, how did K-drama become such a global phenomenon? It's not sudden. You can roughly say it's been almost 30 years. From the late 1990s, with the financial crisis, the decision to find other forms of exports, and to go from manufacturing cars to making meaning, right? To kind of rebuild the economy after the crisis by turning content into capital. So, but I find the comparison to cars very interesting because if you were to analyze the way that Korean makes drama and content, it's actually very much like manufacturing. It's like a machine. It's like a very, very systematic, and there's a pipeline. Whether it's for talent, whether it's for content, and that is something that we can all learn. When we think about K-drama, we think it's so romantic, it's so beautifully shot, but it's not all touchy-feely. There's a whole system behind it. And actually that's what we hope that the creative people of the future will learn. Is actually that it's a system, there's a science behind it as much as an art. And what you can see is actually that you have three things: policy, platforms, people, right? And when you say the policy in the 1990s, they have the law identifying that pop culture, K-pop content is a format export. In terms of platform, and then later in 2009, they created this agency for Korean Creative Content Agency, KOCCA, KOCCA. It sounds like an instant noodle, but it's actually an agency. And then people, you have CJ Enm, ENM. Do you know what that is? What company it is? Have you watched the Squid Game? Parasite is the company behind Squid Game and Parasite. So they have people, pipeline, big companies that are making a lot of money by creating content franchises. And they also have platforms. There's a very interesting story about Netflix because I think Netflix plays a very, very important role in K-drama going global. So you can see that between the years 2021 and 24, 6 of the top 10 non-English Netflix shows were Korean, all Korean. Okay, I don't know whether there was a Hindi movie or not, but I didn't check. But there were 6 out of 10 were Korean. Of course, the Squid Game is the most watched series. How many of you have watched the Squid Game? Okay, do you like it? What do you like about it? In one word, what do you like about it?
Emotions.
Emotions. What else? Thrilling. Okay. One more word. Anyone has another word? But anyway, it was what? Storytelling. It was the most watched series ever. So more than 100, I think it's 142 million households watch it in over 3 months, right? So let's think a bit about the phenomenon. So we talk about the 3 things, the 3 pillars. First, you have talent development. And the talent development is not just traditional school, the Academy of Fine Arts. Those schools are like 2 years, full-time, rigorous training. But you also have the K-pop training, which is like, do you want to guess how many years, if you want to become a K-pop star, how many years do you have to spend time training before launch, before you get launched? 6 to 10 years. Have you tried becoming a K-pop star? Okay. Any other guesses? 10 years. It's around there. It's anywhere from 3 to 7. It could be 10. It's 12 to 16 hours of training. It's very systematic. They kind of de-risk. They look at it very much like a product, like IP. Look at people the same way. So that's a talent development, very rigorous. They really think about. I just saw a documentary about this guy called SM Lee. He ran the biggest K-pop entertainment company called SM Entertainment, and he really wanted to crack the formula for making stars. Like what kind of combination, what kind of idea will and they'll invest like 10 years in a group and spend millions of dollars before they even launch. And the IP ecosystem is very interesting actually. People ask me, how do they come up with so many hits? It's because it's like car manufacturing. They have an assembly line. And one example I can quote is, have you heard of Never? Naver. You nodded. What is Never?
It is like Google Maps in Korea.
It's Google Korea. It's the biggest search engine company. It's a very important company. So they have this pipeline where if they have a great idea, they will actually start with a web cartoon. They start with very low cost version, right? Let's do a web cartoon, web series. If it does well, we go to drama. We turn it into something. And then it becomes a film. Then it becomes a game. Then it becomes merchandise. So they actually invest, and it's like they have a venture capital mindset to making content. Small investment, if it does well, next round. If it does well, next round. And the very important thing is that they don't do one-off. They always think about, will this be a franchise? Will there be 3 seasons, 5 seasons, etc.? So that's one thing. And let me show you a little clip of it. So that's an example of a webtoon that's produced by Naver. So they do something like that that's cheaper, lower cost. If it does well, then it might become something on Netflix. If it does well, it might become a movie, etc., etc. I think the other thing to think about in terms of IP ecosystem is the platform is very important. Netflix is actually very important. Does anyone want to tell me why Netflix was so important?
The reach is more than,
The reach is much more.
yes, and affordable.
How many of you have seen K drama on Netflix before? How many of you started watching K drama because of Netflix? You also have some people, right? Let me give you a rough timeline, right? So when the late 1990s, they started wanting to have this manufacturing cultural export. And then in the 2000s, they were successful. The first wave was in China, in Southeast Asia. They become that kind of this East Asian phenomenon. I was told this afternoon that in 2000, there was a burst of love for popularity for K-drama in Manipur, in the northeast, because at that time the Bollywood movies were banned in that part of India, and they were smuggling in K-drama. I did not know this until this afternoon. But in the 2010, something very important happened. 2016, Netflix entered South Korea. And then what happened? Anyone want to guess?
Exploited.
They wanted to actually produce original content because South Korea is an important market. They want to commission original content. And that whole process actually pushed K-drama to be much more innovative. Why? Because as a regional local player, they play it safe. They want to just make relatively low cost romance, formulaic, but with more funding for Netflix. And Netflix has a very important asset. It has data. They know the data of people watching K-drama. When they cried, you are data point. All of you who cried, you are data point on Netflix. When you rewound, when you skip forward, etc. And because of that global nature of Netflix, I think that was a tipping point when K-drama became a global phenomenon. And then the other thing that is important about K-drama is that it did not try to copy Hollywood, right? It did not try to do the superhero movies, the tempo movies. Instead, it really had its own emotional DNA, which is for those of you who like K-drama, what is the emotional DNA? How do you know it's a K-drama? What are the things that happen in a K-drama in terms of emotion? Anyone?
The relatability, I guess, that is like not that fictional. It's reality based.
There's some sort of emotional realism.
You can connect with the story.
Yeah, okay. And I think also there's this whole thing of sorrow. It's a sorrowful people, Koreans, but they're also resilient. There's also hope. I think there's this DNA that's very unique to Korea, but they have also made it quite universal. So most of their dramas, you don't need a lot of local cultural knowledge to understand. They're quite accessible to a general audience. So let me play you one clip and see whether it's one something you like. Okay. It's in Hindi, so I have no idea what it said. Can someone help me? What did it say?
It's a romance song.
Okay.
Sad.
Okay. So, but this is an example. How many of you know what drama this is? Crash Landing on You. Do you like Crash Landing on You? Why? Why do you like?
It's the first K-drama I watched, so it has a very special connection with me also. Also because it is very different as compared to other things that I watched. In terms of the North Korean and the South Korean thing, and the raw emotions which came out also. So,
Yeah. Anyone else like Crash Landing on You? Yeah.
It's purely romantic. That's the one of the reasons they have highlighted that photo. And I was not married yet.
Oh.
That is one of the reasons I did it.
Emotional.
That needs some sort of decoding.
No, it's a crash landing.
Yeah, I think that I think it became a hit during the pandemic, right? Because of the lockdown. So I think the other trigger of this global phenomenon is the lockdown together with Netflix made certain what they call content franchises like this one do extremely well, even though you did not expect it to do as well as it does. And you can see some of the emotional DNA. There's a very specific cultural context in terms of the border of North and South Korea, but the emotions are quite relatable. You don't need to understand the politics between North and South Korea to relate to it. Now I'm going to talk about the unromantic part. Okay, sorry to trash your dreams. I'm going to talk to you about the invisible hand of AI. After all, the title of the talk is really about AI. How many of you know how AI is used in the K-drama ecosystem? No? No. I hope that it does not disillusion you. I'll share a bit of some examples. Anyway, Netflix uses AI very extensively in terms of analyzing the content. Let me share a few examples. Oh, sorry. It's okay. So CJ Entertainment, again, is the company behind Squid Game and Parasite. And they actually use AI to predict emotional beats. So they have this tool called AI Script Analysis Tool that was launched in 2022. And they will analyze screenplays for emotional patterns. So they do that. And in 2023, they tested 3 series concept and greenlit it using the AI assessment as opposed to human intuition. Do you know what is the green lit something? What does it mean?
Okay.
Okay, yes, green lit means green light, budget approved. Go ahead, move ahead with the project. And in 2023, they greenlit 3 series using this method of predicting with AI. All 3 became hits.
The script was also generated by AI or not?
No, not yet. Later we'll talk about that. This one is written by human, I hope. Okay. So I think they have a lot of data points. They can look at the audience data point. They can also look at the social media data point, like what was the scene, the episode, the 5-second clip that everyone was commenting on after the episode aired, things like that. So and the other element is Netflix, right? Netflix is very interesting because it used to be a DVD rental company. Okay, once upon a time, a VHS rental company. It became a streaming platform, but it's more than a streaming platform. What makes it different from a streaming platform? Like a TV, what makes it different from a TV network?
You can watch it whenever you want and
Anytime, anywhere.
It has data.
yeah.
So in a way, because it has data, it is also able to commission original projects, right? Because I have data on 100K dramas and what people like, which episodes were the most popular, and what were the audience. So they can actually then say, okay, I want to make a K drama based on the data insights. So they have more than 300 million subscribers globally, and so they can actually track the data points and shape the K drama as well. And of course, in K-pop, you also have this whole other AI universe where you have the group, but the group also has their AI avatars, and the fan can also interact with the K-pop group, the AI avatars. Do you know of a group called aespa? AESPA? Okay.
Yes. Aespa.
Oh, why are you so excited? Okay, tell us about aespa.
Aespa is I think so, BTS music group, if I'm not wrong.
It's a K drama. It's a group of girls.
Yeah, I have heard them. I have heard them on Spotify.
Ah, okay. So anyway, they also use this virtual idols to again have more interaction, engagement, more data. So the whole system is actually informed by AI.
Actually, I was not excited. I just got aware.
Ah, okay. Okay. Now we are all aware that you are excited.
Aware.
Okay. Oh wait. Okay. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the kind of creativity in the age of AI, human-centered creativity. Just now, this gentleman asked whether the script was analyzed by AI or was it also written by AI. In recent years, they've actually started experimenting with analyzing, co-writing with AI. You're actually starting to see Korean movies where the AI gets the credit. The AI is a co-writer. So this series called Kiss Lightning Ghost Cupid is actually co-written with AI. So for example, the AI will what can the AI do?
Take a lot of information and then create the data.
That's one possibility. The AI, for example, the writer could maybe write an outline and say, AI, develop it into a full draft, right? This is my ideas, write into a full draft. The writer can also say, AI, come up with 50 variations of the plot. So that I can avoid making a very cheesy expected drama. So this actually was co-written with AI. And what was interesting is that they were very conscious to make sure that the human decide. That means the AI was just like a drafting assistant. It did not let the AI do all the work, but it was helping the process assisting the process. Has it happened in India yet? AI being credited as
Couple of movies.
which movie?
One was the Houseful 5, which was recently released. The AI actually suggested two endings to the story. So the producers finally released in different cinemas. They released two versions of the movie, in which the ending is different. They copied it from the Japanese format. Japanese formats movies, they have 5 or 6 endings, different endings. They let the audience think what the ending could be.
Right.
So this movie, like, it had only two endings, two different endings, but it was released in different cinemas. So what you watched, maybe I got a different version of.
I see. That's a bit frustrating.
Yeah.
What if it's a ending I don't like? But anyway, but that's very interesting as well. And remember this company is CJ Entertainment. They actually have a policy that. Do you know what human in the loop means? In AI, what does it? Yeah, what does it mean to keep human in the loop?
So human involvement is there.
That there always has to be a human, and for them, this company, although they are a very big company, they insist that AI can only assist. It cannot be the creator. And the other thing that's interesting is that every AI suggestion is reviewed by a minimum of 2 people, 2 humans, not 2 AI, 2 humans. Okay. And the other thing that's very interesting, I don't know whether you have it in India, is that the Korea has a law in 2023 where if you use AI in creating a piece of work, you have to say.
Yeah.
So you cannot pretend that you wrote it yourself. You have to say, what did AI do in that? Does India have a law like this?
They're coming up with. You have to give the disclaimer that this is partly AI generated.
Yeah, someone there? Yeah, over here. So I think that's an interesting thing that although they are a very successful company, they could just go all AI. They could afford to build the most expensive AI system. They have this requirement that every AI output has to be reviewed by at least 2 people. And the Korean law require that you have to disclose. You cannot pretend that if something is written by AI completely or partly, that you don't tell people. So that's interesting. What's the effect of disclosing? Why do they require disclosure? What happens if you don't disclose?
People might think that it is human written by humans or created by humans.
Content and the AI generated content will mix up.
Okay. And what's the harm that's caused?
Nobody can know the truth. The original content is lost.
Okay. I think that back then, sir.
Just to honor the law of the land, so some human person should be responsible for that. Simply saying that AI has written this cannot escape to you.
I think the point is also that transparency creates trust, right? If you're transparent, after a while, people might not mind that AI was involved, but it builds trust in the AI as well because they know that human is in the loop. Whereas if you hide it, people get confused and then they end up trusting neither the human created content nor the AI content, right? So that's a possibility. This one is actually quite exciting. In 2025, they they created a AI film, a series that was completely done with AI, and it's an animated film series, and it was made with 6 people in 5 months. And tell me what it means if you can. Is it a lot of people or very few people for animated series to have 6 people do it in 5 months? What's the typical size of an animation team? Does anyone do animation here? Anyone? So normally you will take probably 50 people. Here's the slide, 6 people. You take 18 to 24 months. So they're making this at how many percent? Who's good at math? Less than 10% of the normal resources because they use AI. And the interesting trend here is that these generative AI, generative content labs will become the new studios, right? Where if you have a small team, you can actually produce a pipeline of content and be quite profitable, potentially. Um, and and I think that trend is going to happen in India as well, right? Where small teams will become kind of a mini micro studio that can maybe produce a big hit. I was actually speaking to a journalist just now, Dhruvi, I think, and I was telling her that maybe the opportunity in the future for journalists is that you'll become a one-person mobile studio. It's true, right? You will record the interview. You can put out an article. You can put out a podcast. You can put out multiple outputs, right? Because the technology makes it easier. So, is that good or bad?
Depends. Depends.
It depends.
Subjective.
The originality has to be human.
Right.
If you're using human originality and doing it, it's fine. But if you're just copying and pasting, then it doesn't make sense.
But I think this trend towards micro studio is actually the opportunity for the younger people as well, because when they come out of school, they may not get a job at the big company, but they might be able to start a studio with 5 people and start doing some advertising, some short form content, etc. Because that's the trend, and they will use AI tools. They will use, what are some of the tools? They will work with ChatGPT to write a script or Claude. They might use something like Midjourney to generate images. 11 Labs, which is a voicing tool, cloning tool. So yeah. Oh, this one is quite fun. This is a trend as well, which is that the K drama is actually starting to experiment with kind of interactive K drama. Like in a sense, it becomes like a game. They have apps where if you respond to the drama, you will change. They will calibrate the ending for you, right? So that's something that that's 2024, 2025. They're starting to do that. And the thing is that just imagine if it's not just your emoticon or your feedback, your comments. What if they can actually track your biometric data, your heart rate, or whatever other things that, and then as you watch it, they can maybe adjust the soundtrack. They can affect your mood. Does it sound scary?
Yes.
Why is it scary?
You know, if it's your control is, you're giving your control to AI. So
You're giving it a lot of data.
it again depends, if you use it for a good thing, then it's okay.
Yeah,
But if you're using it only for commercialization,
yeah. Any other response? So what else is scary? Yeah, I think essentially we're moving towards this interactive, hyper-personalized content that is made possible because of AI. Because AI can um, really analyze your interactions and engagement with the content and generate different possibilities and pathways, right? So that's a very interesting trend to know. So essentially, every experience becomes like a game, right? So it's like a mini game that you're playing by watching the drama. Yeah. It sounds tiring, right? When you watch drama, don't you want to relax rather than wonder what's changing because of your interactions? How many of you think it's very tiring? So
It is the future. How can it be scary at the end?
you don't think it's scary?
No, because I will make it.
Oh,
so you can change it as the way you like it.
Why not? Only I am the young guy here.
not true. There are a lot of young people.
Yeah.
Look at the lady over there.
Yeah.
Look at the.
I am
Okay,
young by hair, they are young by experience.
okay. Okay. I think I think one of the things I wanted to share is actually, um, remember I compared to the K drama, like, because it's actually they are like a machine. You know, they're not manufacturing cars, but they're manufacturing this pipeline of talent, content franchises, etc. And there's a discipline, there's a system, whether it's the talent, the IP, you know, the emotional DNA. And what I find interesting, because I'm interested in AI for humanity, AI ethics as well, that they're actually potentially showing us that being responsible with AI can build trust in AI creativity. What are some examples, right? So, policy wise, they have passed a law called the Korean AI Ethics Charter in 2020. So, they have principles of AI for creative industries, which is already way more advanced than most countries in the world, right? The other thing is that they also the other minor miracle is that the government, the entertainment studios, and universities actually talk to one another. In many countries, they don't talk to one another, right? The government does its own thing and the studio does its own thing. So they actually have a creative AI task force that brought together what we call the stakeholders, the government, policymakers, the entertainment companies, the universities. And so to me, that's interesting in the sense that they're not just when you say ethics, it sounds very boring, right? Rules and regulations, but essentially, they're actually building an infrastructure for trust in the age of AI, right? Just now we were talking about why do they want disclosure and transparency if you use AI in the making of content? Is because if you're transparent, people trust. And after a while, maybe using AI will not be such a dirty word or such a suspicious thing because everyone declares, yes, I did use AI for this part or that part, or I use AI completely, right? So that's a good thing. And if you think about the policy, the ethics, the talent, I think it's a potential model for AI for humanity. And now to talk briefly about my book, it's actually in the book we have this idea of human AI symbiotic intelligence. It means that you have three levels. You have automation, which is what most people use AI for efficiency. The level two is augmentation. AI is kind of making you more capable, enhancing you. It could help you in your ideation, your creativity. So the example of generating 50 variations of a script is augmentation. Brainstorming is augmentation. The the third level, because I'm Chinese, is the highest level of kung fu, as they say, level three kung fu, is to have for human intelligence and machine intelligence to co-evolve. That means you know the boundaries of what you can do together keep extending, right? You explore new frontiers, new possibilities. You can make new types of content. You can create new genres, personalized experiences, etc. So I think that I think that because of how systematic the Koreans have been from the early days to now. So all through all the evolution, the first wave of Korean drama, the second wave in Netflix, and now global, I am hopeful that the Koreans can actually model an approach to AI in the age of approach to creativity in the age of AI. And I'm not Indian and I'm new to Ahmedabad, but I think that I'm just thinking, and you can maybe add to this. Will there be an Indian way? How many of you think that in the next decade? Wow. Oh, that's good. Okay, we need to unpack why you think there's an Indian way. Why do you think there's an Indian way? Would be an Indian way? The gentleman at the
Because just recently, one uh, uh, movie came based on Indian mythologies. It's named Narsimha and very much use
Narsimha.
of technology. So like superheroes, Superman, all that. So now the Indian story is becoming global, and that movie has earned a lot of money compared to Western superheroes movie. So this trend is going on, and all the Indian movies nowadays using lot of technology. So maybe in future the web would be the Indian mythological movies.
Right, right. There's someone else who said that they think there's an Indian way. That gentleman.
So, uh, like movies like Mahavatar Nursing, so like mythological Indian mythology combined with AI can create a wave
Yeah,
in
interesting.
coming years.
There's a recent Chinese movie called哪吒. It's also a ancient Chinese mythology. It's also animation that has done globally very well, like just like gazillion dollars, and also has that content IP ecosystem, right? This kind of movies can also be a game. Will also create a lot of merchandise. Can also become a series, etc., etc. Can also have their virtual AI avatar fans, idols, etc. Who else thinks you have? Hi, yeah.
Why I think it could be a new wave is one, we are content hungry people. So we need stories. We are story driven people. Second, there are people who want to create content, and then AI can be that bridge between that content creation. Once people started and they have already started learning, and hence then what will happen is we have stories all around, and we have a country of different languages and various cultures. So there are very local stories that are bound to explode and then come up on screen once the people or the filmmakers learn these tools from AI.
Yeah, interesting. Anyone else has anything to add about the Indian way?
India has a lot of potential. A lot of VFX and animation is now happening in India. Almost 25-30% of the global animation and this thing is happening in VFX and all that.
Yeah.
Even Hollywood movies, a lot of work is being outsourced to India.
Yeah. So I just wanted to put a few suggestions for the Indian wave. We should start preparing for it. That's why we have Micah's launching a School of Applied Creativity. One possibility is actually this AI creative studio. Remember the micro studio that does a lot of work? And it should really be multilingual. One of the opportunities of AI is that India has 22 languages. Korea only has one, right? You could actually produce content, the same content can easily become multilingual. I was quite moved this afternoon because I was sharing with the Micah faculty, and they actually said that Netflix did not just help them discover K drama, it also helped them discover other regional Indian drama because it's subtitled. They can watch it. Whereas previously, if it's not in your dialect, you may not watch it. And that you actually now have following for certain regional dramas. Um, so that's one great opportunity. I think the other opportunity is this whole idea of human AI storytelling, which K drama is very insistent on. The human has to be in the loop, has to be the reviewer, has to have the final say. Because not to forget, one of the things that you loved about K drama, the emotion, is going to be very easily lost if it's only the AI analyzing it. Can you imagine?
What's your personal opinion? Should the humans have the last word, or should it be given to AI?
I think that what point of view is it for commercial point of view or is it from ethical point of view?
If I make a movie, the final okay should be done by a human, or it should still trust on AI?
I tend to think that it has to be human for several reasons. One being that I feel that um, we think about AI as being very powerful, but we have access to knowledge and data that AI does not have. So, for example, in this room, I can see your body language, right? I can see your emotion. If you are here with a friend or a child, I can see your love and care for the friend. So there's actually a lot of data that AI will not get. right? They have a lot of natural language data. They have a lot of interaction engagement data. There's a lot of data that AI does not have. The other thing I think is very important is that accountability is very important, right? Because if the AI cannot truly be accountable, right? If some mistake is made, and if there's no accountability, the system does not learn. Because the AI doesn't pay for it, you can continue making the mistake. So I think for accountability is also very important. So that's why I think. Oh, this is just me randomly saying it. I was just wondering whether, because this is my first time in Ahmedabad, and I just think that you actually have a lot of elements in terms of the creative talent. You have a wonderful management business school, Micah. You have very ambitious creators. You have a great National Institute of Design. I was just wondering whether we're here, uh, that you have access to the government partners accessible. You have great universities. You have talented creators. Whether this city can become one of the test beds for the India way. Do you think so?
Maybe.
Maybe. How many of you think so?
Can be.
Okay. Shall we clap for that? Oh, yay! I got you to clap for me. Anyway, should I take questions? Should we take a selfie? What do you want to do? Is that Q&A section or how does it work?
Can do a round of QA.
Okay. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Any AI require a lot of data. So in Korea, where you are installing your data centers, whether in a bigger city or in small towns?
But I think the data that Korea has may not be completely in the hands of the creators because they also have data that's with Netflix and they may not share very transparently, with Korea. So I think data centers, I think they're just being built across the world. Yeah. So why are you interested? Are you interested in the cost or the location or the environmental impact?
Regarding the planning, suppose somebody has to plan a data center, and it will be better for AI purposes. Will it be in a town or it can be remotely located?
You have both cases. You have data centers that are right in the city, but you also have data centers that are in fairly remote areas, like in a town, in a village where there's nothing else. For instance, data centers can be very controversial. Do you know why? Why are data centers controversial?
Now the government of India is mandated that all financial and personal data centers will have to be in India.
Okay.
So they can't store credit card companies, banking companies. All who have their Indian customers, they have to have a data center in India. It's basically because the government wants to monitor. If it's in another country, they may not be able to get that.
You are raising the issue of data sovereignty.
Yes.
Right? Like if your data is not within national boundaries,
physical,
then you don't have sovereignty, right? Your data is somewhere else. There's also a lot of controversy with data because of environmental impact. A lot of the data centers uses a lot of water. It also displaces the local population, right? The local economy potentially, although it also creates new jobs. Other questions? Hi, sir. Hi, madam. Ma'am.
I have like a curious question. If I'm not wrong, you have showed that in Netflix there was among the top 10, there were a lot of Korean drama since 2021 to 2023. So, if I'm not wrong, they have started the investment in 2016. So my question is that after the AI, like it has started booming because that was the pandemic and recovery period as well.
Yeah.
So between why it has been like top 10 in 2021 to 2024. So that was the curious question. Like, because of the AI, they have like started like booming up, or some other reason for that.
I think the data is not exclusive to K drama, right? Obviously, Netflix has data on all the content that they have. I think it's just that because they've discovered the thing to understand about a streaming platform is that it's what we call long tail content, right? Long tail meaning that the content that very few people, enough people watch, like Brazilian drama, documentaries, Mexican dramas. Now, because you have aggregation globally, they become profitable content, right? Because you can target the people who like it, you can recommend it to them. So, for example, I guarantee if you watch one K drama, you'll be recommended five other K dramas. So, I think what has happened with AI is not exclusive to K drama, but it happens that they have this content ecosystem that is finding a fit with the market, and therefore the AI accelerated it, right? There are also content genres that no one likes, and then becomes a downward spiral, right? So it's actually because they already have some sort of the DNA to make good content, and the AI help the Netflix and also the companies themselves to amplify it, to identify, okay, where are all these people watching K drama, and how can we find more of them on social media, etc. Yeah. Okay. Shall we take a photo together? I'm going to do. Uh, I don't know how to do this. Let me try.
Yeah, you're right.
My hand is not long enough.
Ajay Bhai Napo is our official photographer.
Okay, thank you. You're so much better. If you want, you can just step down here.
Come here.
Okay. I'm not a very good K-pop idol.
Bollywood actress.
Yeah. Thank you. You want to say something about my hair?
No.
Okay. Yeah, she's done. Okay. What's some? Yeah, she's done. Okay, go ahead. Please just give a load of thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. It was a very, very insightful session on K dramas and combined with AI. And we look forward to having you again at AMA. And thank you very much for everyone present here.
આ બધું તો એમને એમ જ રહેવું જોઈએ કાલે અહીંયા જ છે આ બધો સેટઅપ એમ ખાલી આ લેપટોપના કેમેરા મૂકી વાયર પણ